ladies and gentlemen, the Star-Spangled Banner, the national anthem here as the stage is set. And ATV motocross racing on the AMA Pro stage is about set to resume here at Aonia Pass Motocross Park. We look down onto the racetrack, and of course, we have our riders all ready to go here today. And of course, we're going to send them out in accordance with our top 5 in points today. We introduce to you our top riding racecraft. Fly Racing, Max is back to Yamaha. He is Bryce Ford. Also tied for third place in points as well. He rides aboard the number 15 from Long Township, New Jersey, USA, integrated seven-time and defending Motocross National Champion. Currently, your points leader from Galena, Illinois. On the Wiener Motorsports, Maxxis SSI decals, Fly Racing, factory-backed Yamaha.
Oh, so what I unplugged it.
Sponsored Yamaha, Zach Harris. On board the number 26 from Kennard, Nebraska, fresh from a podium position finish on a TDR Motorsports on-the-box performance, Pafford EMS Decker Training Facility backed Honda, Brandon Hogue. Riding aboard the number 28, featured on the event souvenir shirt here at Aonia Pass from Palm City, Florida, on a Phoenix Racing-backed machine, Jeffrey Rastrelli. The number 55 from Peru, Indiana, on board the Stanfield Motorsports-backed Yamaha, Logan Stanfield. The number 99 from Tennyson, Indiana, on a TDR Motorsports, Bevan Motorsports, SSI decals-backed Yamaha, Michael Perkins, a rookie, as well a rookie, aboard the number 101 from Terrell, Texas, on a Corrosion Specialties, Art Deco TDR Racing-backed Honda, Cesar Jimenez. The number 535 from New Franklin, Ohio, on a TDR Motorsports Corrosion Specialties backed Honda, Vincent Merman. The number 724, rookie as well from Harlan, Kentucky, on a Hart's Cycle Sales KMS Racing Timo LR CST Tires Arma Sportback Suzuki of Marshall Smith. Aboard the number 741, he opened the season with a podium position finish at the Daytona ATV Supercross from Myersville, Maryland, on a JH Racing FTR Graphics Fly Racing Walsh Racecraft-backed Honda, Wesley Wolf. And from Poland, on board the Yamaha, number 991, Wojtek Nakoniak, as that is your field of 17 riders poised and ready to strike with the international flavor on the starting line. I said from Terrell, Texas, I believe from Costa Rica, Cesar Jimenez is here with us here this weekend as we get set to roll with these AMA Pro ATV. Little dash of water going down on the racetrack there just a few moments ago. Our good buddy, Mr. Ben, of course, here with us, Ben Bridges, but also joining us with a little call of the AMA Pro ATV class after a long absence from the ATV racing community. You missed one race, Casey, and I tell you, you never hear the end of it. Casey Gregory joining us back here in the tower, and it's probably been a couple of races since you've been back in the tower, maybe. I can't remember, but I'll tell you, When you miss one thing or one person isn't there and things seem out of place, it seems like things were just miscombobulated for us. And with that being said, it is good to have you back, Casey. And I tell you, the stage is really set for a big one today. You mentioned it when we came up here. These guys are tight. I was looking at less than 0.2 of a second separating our top qualifiers. 2 weeks ago at High Point, we were looking at 2 seconds. We're looking at not tenths of a second this weekend. So this one should shape up to be a pretty good barn burner.
Yeah, for sure. And, being at home at the last race and not being able to go to High Point was probably harder on me than it was anyone else. Definitely struggled not being there and, listen to you and Megawatt all day and both days and live timing constantly. And, Tremella Media House is doing the live feed of the race, so that kind of, definitely helped us there. But, yeah, today is going to be, I'm literally, shaking right now. It's going to be an intense race, I think, and there's a lot of guys. Brandon Hogue is running on a full steam of confidence from his third place. Bryce Ford wants to redeem himself from a bad moto that he had in High Point. Joel, he knows he's within striking distance with to Chad's points lead now. He couldn't take it today, but it's just getting closer, and so things are going, and Chad knows it's go time. He's got to protect that points lead, so it's going to be a barn burner.
And that's for the championship, but we're talking all the way back to the top 7 right now. Of course, there's 7 points to separate first and second. Another 23 points back to the tie in that third place position. Another tie in that third place position. Apologize for the audio issues that we have going on the web here today. Don't know what is going on. Things look good here on this end, but they could be overdriving from the radio end of things too. But nonetheless, looking at the point standings right now, as we said, 30 points is what's tied for third place position in points. You got Nick Janusu, who is kind of the heir apparent, if you will, of one of these top 3 or 4 positions when you look at the grand scheme of things with Thomas Brown's absence, with the struggles that we saw with Jeffrey Rastrelli over the last couple of years and so forth. But now you got Bryce Ford sticking his nose up into it. He's tied. Then Max Lindquist, the rookie, who's only 1 point behind those 2 guys right now who are tied for third place. So you could almost say it's a 3-way tie almost for third place position in points. And it's not done there. You got Brandon Hogue, who's another 5 points back, and just another handful of points back in 7th is Jeffrey Rastrelli, well within striking distance. I think it's another 6 points or so back from that 5th place position. But, this is one of the tightest championships I can remember heading into the midway point of the ATV Motocross Nationals in some time, and one that we've seen noteworthy of really looking into, I think, this deep.
Yeah, for sure. And, I didn't get to mention Jeffrey earlier, but I've been speaking with him a lot today and talking with him, and his vibe is really good. So I think we're going to see a good performance out of him, and I think we're going to see battles all the way through this pack and, maybe even some mix-ups.
Yeah, and that's what I'm expecting, some mix-ups with the lap times that we've seen out there. You got Joel Hetrick, a 1:48.333. Chad Wienan's fast lap time, a 1:48.543, a 1:49 for Brandon Hogue, who's fresh off the podium, a 1:49.7 for Bryce Ford. Jeffrey Rastrelli, a 1:49.8. Nick Januso, 1:51. Those guys are kind of tight, especially when you look at what's going on between Joel and Chad. But the one thing that we need to point out is these starts being more and more critical and becoming more so because we're seeing riders not like Chad Wienan or not like Joel Hetrick that are getting whole shots. We're seeing riders like Brandon Hogue get the early lead. We're seeing riders like Bryce Ford get the early lead. So the young guns are chomping at the bit. And to get those guys in between these guys or bury those guys back behind them in the pack, it makes for a whole different face to this race, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And even here last year, Logan Stanfield got the start of his life and was right up there in the mix off the start. And, his starts are coming around and he's getting up there. Bryce has always been a really good starter, so you can expect him to be right there off the start. So that really changes it. It adds, 4 or 5 people all coming in that first turn together side by side. And, the pace just elevates so fast and so quick and early in the race that it just continues. And it used to be, we felt like it would break away during, later in the motos and guys would kind of, separate. From what I was looking at lap times at High Point, And then, you know, even in Texas and stuff, the pack is staying tighter and tighter together now.
It is, and a bit of history here, and you can help correct me if this is wrong, but I thinking that Joe might be right. Joe's thinking that this may be the pro debut track for Joel Hetrick on his Kawasaki. Did we see that happen in here? I can't remember if that was the case or not back in 2010, so very well could have been. So we'll talk with Joel, I think, about that coming up. But if that's the case, that could be a pretty special thing for him here at this racetrack here this weekend.
Yeah, it was definitely his pro debut on a Can-Am. I don't remember back to the Cowie days with him, but yeah, because he had a little incident over in that corner by the pond, so that'll always stick out in our heads. And
so was he on the Can-Am when he made the pro debut then?
No, he pro debuted on Cowie.
Okay, on a Cowie.
And then he switched to a Honda, and then he went to Can-Am, and then back to Honda, and now on Yamaha.
Yeah. And they all seem to work well for him as we check out down on the starting line. Our riders have made their sight lap here today. 30-second card is up, and we are moments away from going racing here in Georgia. It is round number 4, the Aonia Pass AMA ATV Pro Motocross National, as we are mere moments away from revs up and gates down here. Glen Helen Kawasaki. All right, thanks a lot for that update on that. So it was a Kawasaki. We got that part of it right anyway. As the gate is down on this one, and here we go into turn number 1. That looks like a Phoenix Racing Honda out front, or excuse me, Yamaha, Chaparral Yamaha. It is
Hetrick with the whole shot.
88. Hetrick grabbing the early lead. He's got, looks like Weenan possibly back in that number 2 position. So with these guys getting started out front, first off, right off the bat, that is certainly going to make for a long road to hoe for the rest of the field. But who's back there in that number 3 position? Is that the number 2 of Max Lindquist that maybe we're looking at back there as well? We got some position jockeying going on back through there. Possibly. All right, we'll double check that to see if that's not the case. That may be Chad Weenan in the 3rd place position and Bryce in the 2nd place position. We're trying to get some confirmations on that. And wow, look at this heading down the Aonia back there.
Outside, Bryce takes a look over. It looks like he's going to execute the pass there, and looking for the number 4 spot. That's Nick Janusa, and then right on the tail of Nick Janusa, and I believe Brandon Hoag's right there too.
Wow, so tightly knit as they make their way around into the S-turns. We're into the closing moment of lap number 1. Joel Hetrick still out front of this one. It is now into the number 2 position, the number 1 of Chad Weenan, as Bryce Ford drops off to the number 3 position aboard the number 4. That is Janusa in 4th, and that is Rastrelli rounding out the top 5 as they round the final turn and over jump number 14 here. Brandon Hope, 6th position now, or 7th position behind Max Lindquist. There is Wesley Wolf running in the number 8 spot as we check in. In 9th place is Cody Ford. And rounding out the top 10 here in AMA Pro ATV Racing after lap number 1. Looks like that's going to be Vitek Nakadiak. That's the Polish rider out there. So he's the top 10 rider, and good to see a good start for him. Really been seeing some gains in his racing. And wow, speaking of gains, look at the gains that these riders are trying to put forth out here as Joel Hetrick is really trying to gain control of this, but Chad Weenan has latched on, and both these riders starting to stretch out. The battle for 3rd might be where we see this next race starting to shape up, as it is still the number 4, Casey, of Bryce Ford back there in 3rd place. But man, the company is coming hard. It's Nick Janusa and it's Jeffrey Rastrelli. Both these guys a little more experienced than Bryce Ford, but Bryce has the advantage right now being in front of him.
Yeah, definitely, and those guys are coming hard, and, you know, all of them are hungry. This whole group right here, I mean, they're still so tight. Max is there, Brandon's there, Wesley's there.
Yeah, and And another thing to point out, Janusa and Bryce Ford are battling for the rightful ownership of that third-place position in the point standings right now, and they are currently running third and fourth. But here comes a challenge being put on by the 28 of Jeffrey Rastrelli now from back in fifth. He's starting to put the pressure on as it looks like he's having pressure being put on by the rookie, the number 2, Max Lindquist, back in that number 6 position now. The battle for third wage is on now, and it looks like that maybe Ford might be getting a little bit of breathing room as Janusa feeling that pressure from Rastrelli at the moment.
Yeah, and the battle up front's tight. I mean, these guys are really close to each other. You can't get them much closer than that. And, you know, it does look like Bryce, maybe Janusa made a little mistake and it opened up there for Bryce, or Bryce dropped the hammer, realized that he was going to be under fire soon. But Rastrelli is really the one that I'm watching and seeing the lines that he's taken, because he's trying to set Janusa up for a good pass.
Well, I know one thing that has been in the water there a little bit. I know that Jeffrey Rastrelli's been one of those riders that's been you know, we've seen some glimpses of greatness out of him right now, and I'll tell you, early in this moto, he really seems to have the power packed in this weekend, and whatever's been troubling him in the past doesn't appear to be troubling him right now. He is hungry. He is aggressive. He's going for this spot. Man, Nick,
you can even see, like with Chad and Joel up here, they're taking different lines in each other. They're trying different options constantly, even though they got to be so conservative on you can't lose any bit of time to each other. Because once you start to lose touch, that's where everything changes.
I think the rider that we probably should be watching right now might be the 26 of Brandon Hogue. Hogue back in the number 7 position behind Max Lindquist, and right now he has played a pretty good shadow behind that. I've been noticing a little bit of pressure being applied, but as I talk about that, Wesley Wolf starts to apply the pressure now, coming in from that number 8 position on the 741, so this is thickening things up. Position back. We got Nick Janusa, Jeffrey Rastrelli, Max Lindquist, Brandon Hogue, and Wesley Wolf pretty much nose to tail over the finish line with 3 laps now complete.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can remember back, and I knew you were here, and we were both up here. One year it was Kramer, there were 4 or 5 guys, kind of in the exact same battle that we're seeing right now, coming through these tabletops, just like these guys. And it just watching those guys all come through here just now, just kind of like flashbacks. I want to say like 2013 or something.
Wow.
It was insane.
Yeah, there's got some great and special memories, though. It's, you know, this is our 2nd year back recently. It was funny, was talking with someone, they said, you know, our first time here at Aonia Pass, and I kind of chuckled, and I said, well, he obviously has. Starting to see that gap open up just a little bit now. Those tenths of seconds literally are starting to add up, and that's what it is. I mean, that's what we're witnessing right now. You look at lap times of 148.2, 149.4. So Chad did slow down a little bit on that last time around. We'll see that gap to 2.2 seconds here now.
Joel made a little bobble in the ruts down there, but he recovered quickly, and I don't think he lost there.
All righty, here we go. Here's third place Bryce Ford with pressure coming in from Rastrelli. Nick Janusa, he dropped back to 5th for just a moment. Rastrelli was just around, but Janusa's right back around him. Coming in those option lines into the final turns now. There is the third place ride. Bryce Ford, here comes 4th and 5th in. Janusa resumes and reclaims that 4th place position. But there for a moment, Jeffrey Rastrelli was holding on to the 4th place position, but he never claimed rights to it.
Yeah, and it looks like Wesley Wolf has made the pass on Brandon Hogue, and it's interesting, like, I've seen this even watching lap times last week, and Brandon would get shuffled, he got shuffled back at one point, and then, like, just caught fire and ended up going all the way to the 3rd position. So, these guys are so tight right now, where they've kind of, Wesley and Brandon kind of lost touch with Jeffrey and Nick and Bryce, but if they can get on a momentum roll together and quit worrying about, like, actually racing each other, they can catch back up to this group, and we can see this 6-way battle again.
Wow, poetry in motion across the freeway of fun for Joel Hetrick down there on the bottom section of those race courses. He is laying down some law as far as laps are concerned, but Chad Wayne and not to go from 2.2 to 3.3 seconds to separate the first and second place position, but they've got a near 10-second gap back to third place in Bryce Ford right now. Bryce is still not out of the water as Nick Janusis trying to apply the pressure as he's having the pressure upon him. He's following Bryce through these option lines. Jeffrey Rastrelli opting to go to the opposite is going to right now. They paid dividends last time around. What's going to happen this time?
Max Lindquist. He's rolling around right here. He's up, he's moving, everything's good, and he's on the bike, but he's not cheering on his teammate right now is what he was doing, but he's not at pace that he was earlier, so not sure. I think we missed that in this battle with these guys, and that might be where we're kind of gap between Rastrelli and
noticed that Max kept motioning for him to go, but Chad kept looking to see and make sure everything was all right as Max was telling him to go. That was kind of interesting. I guess the mentor and the there, if you will.
Well, and as soon as Chad went by him, because he pointed, I seen him point a line to Joel, like, you know, I'll go here so that he didn't get in the way. And then he let Chad go by the same way, and he, like, cheered him on. And then as soon as he went by, he jumped in right behind him, like, I'm going to go follow him and try to learn what I can. And that's what that kid does.
Well, that'll be lessons well learned here today. So it might be a lap down, but you have got the best.
Looking at the lap times, and Joel actually got down into the 147. Decent a bit faster than what his practice or qualifying times were.
Yeah, for sure. Dropped to a 149.2 last time around. That gap between first and second. But the gap at 3 seconds, just at 3 flat seconds, 3.007. And coming around for another lap complete now. This will be lap 6 complete. You do start doing the math. We are still a lap or so away from the halfway point, so not seeing the finish line flagger looking for that right now. Back in that number 3 position. Now start doing math. 3 points, I believe, is what would be gained if Joel Hetrick hangs on to the lead here. Again, if, and that would bring the battle to a 4-point deficit between first and second heading into the second motos today. Points ahead, that is going to help his favor in maintaining his points control here today. And I'll be honest with you, Chad Wienen, with what we saw out of him in time until I saw what was going on out today in time qualifying, and I see he's still the same hungry bear out there, and he's still looking for wins.
Yeah, I was, down in the mechanics area, and we couldn't see much of the racetrack down there, but watching Chad go by and, like, seeing what he was doing and the times down, Joe would put a fast one in and lower the bar, and then Chad would step up and do it again, and they were just kind of bouncing them off each other. I'm like, these guys can't go any faster. Like, it's done. Like, stop, you guys. Like, almost to that point. And then I'm looking here, and we're running 47s halfway through the day and halfway through the first moto.
Yeah, it's crazy. And kind of the prelude to the limbo contest. How low can you get go? Looking back again, Bryce Ford still in third, Janusa fourth, Rastrelli still holding on to fifth. Wesley Wolf is in sixth. He is closing Rastrelli hard and fast right now. About a second faster and better than a second behind, 1.1 seconds. So fifth place could be up for grabs once again here pretty soon. Casey Greek as the part-time GNCC XC1 Pro and AMA Pro ATV racer are looking for a top 5 right now, or is looking for a top 5 right now.
Yeah, he's on the move right now, and Shirley's trying everything he can to. At one point, it looked like they were kind of losing a little touch with Bryce.
Well, Janusa is still in fourth. Behind Bryce Ford, there is the 28 of Rastrelli. And behind him, the 741 is coming. That is Wesley Wolf. The gap now down to less than actually, between Wesley Wolf and Jeffrey Rastrelli, and 9/10 of a second up to Nick Janusa. So right now is a good place for the XC cross-country racer to be right now. Remember, we talked about endurance. Not that these athletes don't have that top-level endurance, but there's something, an edge that Wesley Wolf might be carrying from those miles and hours that he spends on the GNCC tour.
Yeah, and there's no secret. I mean, Wesley's in great shape, and I think this year he's gotten to prep more than he normally does. And, you know, speaking of another battle on the track right now is Cody Ford and Logan. And if I'm right, or if I remember correctly, I was banking on Logan getting a really good start, and he didn't. So maybe next moto I'll not jinx him.
There you
but
go.
He,
Quit expecting so
he
much.
came from like 16th, and he's already worked his way into the 9th position.
Yeah.
So kind of under the radar.
3.4 seconds, the gap between first and second, another 15.6. Back to the battle for third. Bryce Ford enjoys just under 2 seconds of comfort zone between he and Nick Janusa, the fourth place rider. Wesley Wolf still in that heated battle.
Look at these guys. They are tight right now. They're on Bryce Ford. Bryce Ford is under attack. Rastrelli has made the pass on Janusa, but he's on the outside of Bryce Ford right now.
Oh, and here it is.
He made the pass.
Can he make it stick as they're side by side over the tabletop, past the finish line, over the tunnel jump, and Jeffrey Rastrelli into the number 3 position, and he still got shadows in Bryce Ford. Wesley Wolf right there on that rear grab bar.
Yeah, this is the battle that we all want to see right here. These guys are splitting hairs. I mean, Wesley Wolf pretty much had to go off the track, and not like on purpose. It just, the track literally narrowed up enough to where he could not stay on the track because they were 3 wide coming into this turn right on the other side of the tabletop of the finish line.
All right, here's the gaps between Jeffrey Rastrelli and Bryce Ford. 0.093, 0.563 back to Nick Janusa, 0.101 back to Wesley Wolf. Wow.
Yeah, it's insane. You got 2 seconds that separate 5 guys.
That's amazing as we check the battle going on down the Aonia Pass freeway. I call it the Aonia Bond and the freeway of fun, and it is not over back there for that battle for third place. It's Jeffrey Rastrelli filling the heat. Here comes Bryce Ford trying to fire back as he goes in on the inside of that option line. He's not got the advantage coming out of that one, though, as Rastrelli still maintaining the position. Janusa still back in that number 5 position as he dropped that, passed by Jeffrey Rastrelli. Rastrelli making some big moves on that last lap around, passing up from 5th place into the number 3 spot.
Yeah, now that he's got a little bit of clear track here, I mean, he's still having to defend because he's not away. He hasn't broke away from Bryce Ford, Nick Janusa, or Wesley Wolf. I mean, these guys are still. Wesley Wolf made the pass on Nick Janusa right there. That was a crazy line. That was kind of the line that he got shoved into earlier. And Bryce Ford still trying to attack back to Jeffrey Rastrelli right now.
Wow, so Nick Janusa trying to fire back right now. And look at this, so is Bryce Ford as they go side by side over the tunnel jump. But, man, Rastrelli just maintaining control of the lines in the main race line. And that's what's winning this battle, at least for the moment, for the number 28 machine as they're top of the hill there now as they head out of that roller section. Oh, mercy.
Yeah, I think Bryce got into the back of Jeffrey just a little bit. Just the way it looked from here, and I could be wrong, but they come together and almost made Bryce have to come to like a stop.
Well, look at that. Janusa trying to fire back on Wesley Wolf. Wolf is really the man that is on a move in that pack right now, as he is as well as made up some positions, working on a second position away from Bryce Ford. Ford still about a second ahead of the 741, so we'll see what happens here on this lap of racing. And
at a good speed is Brandon Hogue, and I don't know if he just made a mistake and lost touch with these guys and like the momentum kind of slows down on him. But I've been watching him a little bit, and he's not really attacking like he was earlier.
Well,
Bryce Ford has got him. Wesley Wolf has got
Oh,
him
here goes.
right back in front of Nick Janusa.
Yeah, so, yeah, wow. So here, I don't know what happened. Jeffrey got out of his line, and he went wide on that end to the outside of that option line. That allowed Bryce to get around. At the same time, off the track went the 28 machine, but back into it, things look a whole lot different as we wrap up lap number 10 now. Hetrick out front, Chad Wheaton in the number 2 spot.
And the 2-lap board is out.
Ford in third. It is Wesley Wolf in fourth. Chapter Australia now in fifth. Nick Janusa in sixth. As we've got that great wheel-to-wheel racing action going on out here. So, again, 25 seconds between second and third, but it is all eyes, I think, right now on that battle for third, fourth, fifth, sixth place positions with Ford, Wolf, Rastrelli, and Janusa. As the riders make their way down on the far back section.
Joel Hetrick here in a couple seconds come up and get the, I believe he's going to get the white flag.
Yep.
Yeah, the 2-lap board's already out, so.
Wow, they're up here near the completion, and they're just now down on the Aonia Pass down there. Back in sixth. Wow, what a nail biter. How close and tight-knit these guys were just 2 laps ago, Casey. And to see what that little interaction of battling has brought us to here 2 laps later now.
Yeah, this is a great battle. I mean, this is the racing that we all want to see right here. And, you know, hats off to all 4 of these guys. I mean, they're gritting it out right now. So, Rastrelli did all that work to get himself in that position, and then there was one little hiccup down there, and it cost him 2 positions, and so he went from third to fifth that quick. And, you know, Wesley Wolf at the same time was just in the right spot to start capitalizing. And watching him and watching some of the stuff he's doing right now, over jumping things like this roller right before the finish line section, he's almost making it down to the step down, just trying to put in that little extra effort. You know, even with 1 lap to go, he's still hungry. He wants to try to get in that position.
Well, I'll tell you, no matter where Rastrelli finishes here in this battle, the one thing that he should do is take away all the positives from it, because this is a Jeffrey Rastrelli we haven't seen. The longevity of the battle, to be able to keep that energy level up there where it needs to be able to fight this long. So any training issues or overtraining issues that he has had don't appear to be affecting him, at least here in Moto number 1, as things are tightened back up. Wesley Wolf is trying to pull the trigger back there on the number 4, Bryce Ford, but Ford answers back with no little throttle there now, and it is still on. Those 2 are starting to stretch it out a little bit away from Jeffrey Rastrelli. Nick Janusa, I think, is settled back into that number 6 spot. We're still up in the air with a lap to go now for our leaders in this third place position as they come around. Still a ways to go as Joel Hetrick has got the white flag and will be taking the checkers as here we go. Checkers are out. Joel Hetrick takes another Moto win and inches 3 more points closer to that championship.
Wesley Wolf on the inside of Bryce Ford now. I think Bryce will be able to sneak by and keep that. He's going to protect the inside in this next one. I'd imagine he's going to run to the inside. Yep. Right there, try to hold Wesley Wolf on.
Oh, wow, Wesley Wolf! Mercy, he goes through. Right there, he did that on the inside of that corner. With about a bike length lead, Bryce Ford is not a bit happy with that one, my friends. He doesn't appear to agree with maybe the way that pass was made out there, as he is. Bryce Ford is not a bit happy. I can't tell from where I'm at, but I can see that. And Ken Hill, I'm sure, yes, we'll have a picture of that, so we'll be able to get a little bit of better justification on that. But wow, what an amazing finish there for that first moto. Joel Hetrick will get the Moto 1 win. As we said, gaining 3 points, bringing them within 4 of the championship points battle with Chad Wayne. And still a moto to go here today, though, folks. Wesley Wolf as of right now, has credit for that third place position with Bryce Ford in fourth, Jeffrey Sterling in fifth, Nick Jadusa in sixth, Brandon Hogue in seventh, Cody Ford in eighth, Logan Stanfield in ninth, and Vincent Merman, who had all the troubles this morning in time qualifying, the rookie, rounds out the top 10. Way to go, Vince. As we'll head down to the, we're going to head down. We're going to talk to our fastest qualifier, our Whole Shot Award winner, and, of course, our Moto 1 down here at the podium. And somebody's got their truck parked